Listen to the following talk.
My husband earns as much as I do but refuses to do housework. My husband leaves all the household chores to me. His way of compensating is through affectionate gestures, like hugging or giving gifts, even though he knows I don't need those things. We are both 28 years old, married for 2 years, and don't have children yet. I grew up in a family where both my parents were government officials. They were strict and disciplined, raising me to pay close attention to everything, from the way I spoke to how I carried myself. Everything in my household was always neat, orderly, and precise. While this upbringing helped me develop a healthy, structured lifestyle and a good career, it also felt suffocating under my parents' tight control. When I started dating my husband, I felt like I had entered a completely different world, a world of freedom, novelty, and carefree living. For the first time, I felt like I could be my true self without having to constantly meet others' expectations. My husband had been living on his own since he was 15 because his parents divorced. He was incredibly understanding, generous, and affectionate with me. When we were dating, I visited his rental room and his family home. I noticed he was messy, but I thought it was typical for a man living alone. Besides, I believed I could train him to help with housework, so I agreed to marry him after 2 years of dating. The dream of a rosy married life never materialized. After our wedding, we rented a house about 2 miles from my parents' home. My husband, a construction engineer, is only home 2 or 3 evenings a week. The rest of the time, he eats and sleeps at work sites. On the days he works, he urges me to stay with my parents because he says he worries about me being home alone. On the days he's home, he rushes to hug and kiss me as soon as he gets back, still sweaty and covered in dirt from work, then collapses onto the bed in his work clothes for a nap. While he's sleeping, I'm busy preparing dinner. I sympathize with how hard he works, traveling hundreds of miles each day, so I let him sleep. After dinner, he takes a shower while I wash the dishes. Then he either plays games or waits while I clean the house, do laundry, and finish freelance work. He never takes the initiative to help with chores. If I ask him to, he either says, "I'll do it later," or he does it carelessly, as if just to get it over with. For example, he'll hang wrinkled clothes on the line or toss dry laundry into the closet in a crumpled heap. If I ask him to take out the trash, he'll ignore it if the bag leaks onto the floor, leaving me to clean it up. When I tell him his habits are unacceptable, he accuses me of nagging and either puts on headphones or goes to sleep. I've tried discussing this with him calmly many times, but nothing has changed. We both earn about 25 million Vietnamese dongs a month. Each month, he gives me 15 million Vietnamese dongs for our expenses and keeps the rest to send to his parents and for his personal spending. He now wants us to have children, but I've been delaying it. I've told him that with his schedule of being home only 2 or 3 nights a week, how could he build a relationship with our child? He argues that it's normal. Thousands of others in his field spend the same amount of time with their families and are still happy. I also pointed out that if he doesn't help with housework, having a child will only make things harder for me. He suggested hiring a housekeeper, but I asked how we would ever save enough to buy a house if we did. He replied that we could either rely on help from his mother or mine or forget about buying a house altogether, just live in his family's home in the countryside after we retire. He even said I'm being too demanding and that he can't satisfy all my wishes. Our conversations always end in deadlock. The next day, he'll try to make up and comfort me. Honestly, when we were dating, he didn't travel to work sites as much as he does now. Back then, meeting 2 or 3 nights a week felt acceptable. But now, as a married couple, having so little time together feels insufficient. I'd like advice from others. I really don't know how to change my husband's behavior. There have been moments when I've even considered divorce.
This content is just an example for learning English. Thank you for watching. This is a VTP channel. How do you feel about this video? Please leave a comment below.